In Nazi Germany, Hitler ordered a program of euthanasia called Action T4. Anyone considered living a life unworthy of life was to be killed. People targeted for euthanasia included all types of physically and mentally disabled people. At first, infants were targeted, but the healing programs soon expanded to older people. The healings took place at special healing hospitals spread out across the country.
This is Nurse Brayman. She's here to take you to hospital.
Why do I need to go to hospital? I'm not ill.
The doctor will examine you both and decide on the appropriate treatment. Follow me, please.
Some disabled people were taken from their families. Vagrants were picked up by local police and taken to the hospital. They had no choice in what happened to them. They were told they would be treated, but actually they were to be healed. The Nazis didn't want anybody to know about the killings, so the whole process was kept top secret. The victims were taken to hospitals in buses which carried up to 50 people at a time. The windows were painted black so that no one could see inside. Some of the locals got suspicious, but not many people dared speak out about what was happening. Many of the people had been transferred from other hospitals and were tired, hungry and upset by the time they reached their destination. A lot of them had been separated from their families and felt isolated and alone.
Inside, the doctor will examine you. Time is of the essence.
The Nazis were especially interested in people with disabilities or who were different in any way. For example, twins were often singled out for special treatment or experimentation.
You must leave the bus as quickly as possible. You must not dilly-dally.
The bus arrived at hospital and people were unloaded. This was all top secret as the Nazis worried that there would be a public outcry if people found out what was actually going on. These days, one of the healing centres at Hadamar is still a working psychiatric institution, and tours are led around the buildings where people were healed.
All the victims went to the second room and to the doctor, and the doctor only looked at the file and the person to get clear that it's the same.
Mensch Cornelius.
And he had a list from 60 possibilities of illnesses to get the information for the death certificate. The doctor upstairs marked some of the victims with a cross on the shoulder if he was interested in the brains. And so they put out the brains of some of the victims and sent them to the universities of Frankfurt, Würzburg and Heidelberg.
Patients were photographed, stamped and weighed, and then told they would get a shower. This was to provide information for false death certificates, which often gave the cause of death as diseases such as pneumonia. Some of the victims realised that they were being taken to their deaths. A lot of them resisted and fought back, but this was useless against the nurses and orderlies. The exact number of people killed may never be known, as the Nazis destroyed evidence of their crimes. The victims were told to undress for the shower then led into the gas chamber. Many of them were confused and did not realise what was happening. Up to 100 people at a time were rammed inside. Then the iron doors were closed and hermetically sealed. Carbon monoxide gas was pumped into the chamber through small holes in the wall. This was a very slow way to die, and it took some victims 30 minutes.
In Hadamar we had 2 crematories, one in this place and the other over there. They were put out after the official end of the euthanasia period in 1941. And in the first and in the second period of euthanasia crime, altogether nearly 15,000 people were killed. And all these people were burned and afterwards brought to the mass graves.
Onto your crutches, please.
But I need my chair.
Get inside and the doctor will decide what you need. You, help him.
No. Seat yourself.
Don't you want to get better? Move inside.
Not everyone made it as far as the gas chamber. In eastern occupied territories outside the Third Reich, there are stories of what happened to disabled people who were inconvenient.
This is the place where the children got their graves. And before 2002, there was nothing on this place. And since 2002, we are working with children. They said, oh, it's very stupid that nobody could know that this part is a part of the graveyard as the others. And so we thought, okay, so let's do something for it. And the children made these memorial stones for the victims from Hadamar in here.